Hey guys, so I'm back for another Ableton 9 experiment, and in this video I'm going to do some tests with the glue compression rack. I've been wanting to try this on a lot of different things. So what I've done is I've created a rack, and the rack basically has some of my favorite presets built into it. So that way I can just kind of scroll through and compare the differences between either the different presets or not having any of the compressor on at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the whole song and just show you kind of how the settings sound with the overall song. And then what I'll do is I'll go to some of the individual parts so that you can hear separated drums or bass and kind of see how these sound. And I'm just using the presets that are built in. I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but I just want to give you guys an idea of how this glue compressor sounds overall. And I'll tell you some of my favorite presets so far as well. So let's go ahead and play the song. And this is without anything on it. Okay, now I'll go through a little before and after. So here's before. Before, after. Punch. Notice a definite difference with that one. Make it loud preset before. Okay, so I find that right off the bat, the ones that I seem to feel make the most noticeable difference is low extender, the punch parallel so-so, the punch for sure, the parallel, the lead solo, and definitely the loud here. The sustain so far I haven't really noticed a whole lot of difference, but I'm sure I'm just using it on the wrong settings. So let's go into some of the individual parts of this track. I'll start with the drums here, and we'll just see how it does on the drums. So this is with nothing on it at all, and then I noticed a lot more bite with this here compared to this. Punch parallel. Not a drastic difference, but I still think it does make some difference. Punch, I definitely noticed a difference with. As well as the parallel in a different way. And then the make it loud setting. It's really pretty musical. It definitely adds its own character, which is great. So far, I think at least one of the presets will sound good on almost anything that you put it on. Let's try another sound here and see what we can get. So without anything. You notice the difference without it needing to pump the volume up quite a bit. So that's pretty nice. Sounds really great on the low extender. I really like the way the bass sounds with that. Sounds nice. Definitely gives a more of a in-your-face type of sound. That's even a little bit more hardness to the sound. A little more in your face. Once again, the sustain, not noticing a huge difference. And the make it loud sounds really good. I think my favorite for bass that I've tested it on is the low extender. Really like the way that sounds, and I like the punch as well quite a bit. Let's jump over to some other sounds here. So just some effects sounds. Let me just kind of run it through and see if it makes any difference. To be honest, with sounds like this, kind of difficult for me to tell what it's doing to the individual sounds. I think the only thing that that's really noticeable is that it makes it a little bit louder. See how it does on the voice part. The low extender sounds good. The punch seems to sound really good. I think it definitely adds something to the vocals. Even though the low extender sounds really good on certain individual tracks, you don't really want to extend the lows on everything that you're running it through. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a muddy mix or something like that. But it definitely sounds good on its own. And the punch as well is probably either the punch or the parallel settings is probably something I would go with. And let's take a look at what else we got here. Let me try it on this and see what we get. Seems to thicken up the sound, kind of harden it a little bit. So it's a little more difficult with these types of pad sounds and things. Drums, you could definitely notice the difference because you notice the sounds with transients are real noticeable, and they definitely get more of a click, and some of the presets give more of a hardness, a little bit of character, a little bit of dirt to it, a little thickness. So I would say that the glue compressor is pretty much safe to use on just about anything. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Then again, if you're using this on everything, it's probably going to take away some of the magic of the actual effect. Whereas if you use it on just a couple things, then you're allowing certain things to punch through the mix and other things to sit back. And I think that's also a good idea. But experiment and see what works for you. And there you have it, glue compressor. Definitely a fantastic addition to the Live 9 setup.